We were going through some things. You were going through them with Kim earlier, and online video explosion that you talked about. We really saw a lot of stuff going on in the world of online video, both in terms of advertising and in content.
Yeah, I think 2014 probably should be remembered as the year when online video became more mainstream than ever before. The very fact that the Sony hack resulted in the biggest movie release online, simultaneous release online.
Yeah.
I think that is a very transformative event. In hindsight,
well, we started the year with House of Cards, Orange is the New Black doing so well for Netflix and really establishing themselves with sort of a new business model of content creation and essentially taking an HBO model online.
Yeah, I think even HBO kind of decided that it was time to make their content available online for a subscription fee. I think that more importantly, you have, like the interview, Sony releasing the interview online for right reasons or the wrong reasons. And I think we're going to see more and more people think about online first or online as part of their omni-channel strategy for video.
Well, there's been a lot of talk lately about the advertising model being broken across all media, and in particular the things that support journalism, which of course is near to both of our hearts. But in the last year we saw some really successful viral online video ads.
Yeah, I think you had that. More importantly, you saw Yahoo, Facebook, AOL, and get really smart about online video advertising.
Right here we're showing this Chipotle ad from the last year that got enormous pickup online.
Yeah, that must be your favorite ad, given how much you love Chipotle, right?
Yeah, I mean Chipotle. No, I'm all for it. Natural foods, why not? Let's talk about another trend that we saw a lot of in the last year, which was Facebook spending the money they got in their IPO. Of course, it creates a lot of free cash flow as well, but they put a lot of that money to use in acquisitions, including in the world of online video.
I think it's LiveRail is the company they acquired for video, which is a pretty smart acquisition. They also acquired WhatsApp, which I think, in the long run will turn out to be one of the smartest acquisitions they've made, especially as more and more people start to take their conversations into private space, more away from the social network itself, and Yeah,
it seems like Facebook started to hint at a new strategy where they're going to have lots of different verticals, and it won't be one big Facebook you go to. Instagram's just fine all on its own. WhatsApp is just fine all on its own. Facebook is maybe the mothership, but not the whole enchilada, if you will, to use a Chipotle reference.
Well, I was going to go with Procter & Gamble approach to...
and I went back to Chipotle.
Yeah, well,
The whole burrito?
No. Whole enchilada still sounds better. But I do think that they're smart in thinking about different, services, siphoning off those services and trying to, engage with any demographic at any level they can.
So as a venture capitalist, do you start to think about creating or backing companies that would be in the acquisition sort of target range of a Facebook a couple of years out? No.
We look to fund companies which are standalone, businesses and can thrive over a long period of time.
One of the other interesting things to me that we've seen in the last year, and I know you mentioned this as well, is the on-demand economy. Stuff that, I want it now. The most notorious example, of course, is Uber, where the supply expands with the demand.
Yeah, I think it's not just Uber. There's a whole bunch of other startups which popped up. There is, Munchery. There is,
Munchery?
Munchery is like you get really good, healthy meals on you can use your app, order them, and they come in like less than 30 minutes. And they're from like some of the better-known chefs, at least in San Francisco. For somebody who struggles to eat at home often, I like Munchery a lot. It just is for like, for $10-12 you get a really healthy meal.
But it is on demand in the same way that Netflix is on demand, in the same way that Uber's on demand, in the same way that I think Amazon Prime is maybe the most. The push towards same-day delivery from Amazon, I think it's going to have a profound impact on the U.S. and maybe the global economy.
Right. I think this is just a part of the... I wrote a blog post like a long time ago saying that the mobile phone was all about increasing productivity on our personal level. In a sense, just like the personal computer made the corporations more efficient and, squeezed out inefficiencies in the companies. I think the mobile phone is creating that at a much more personal level, at a more individual consumer level. And I think you're going to see more and more of these startups pop up just because, the world is kind of becoming faster and faster.
And interesting stuff. So let's look ahead. Let's look at some things that might matter in the coming year. One I wanted to select, because we were talking about this the other night, was Slack. So for the world, explain to me what Slack is, and then we can talk about what it means.
So first, disclosure that I'm an angel investor in Slack.
Yes.
So with that out, Slack is essentially...
That's why you're picking up the bar tab next time.
Yeah.
Please, continue.
Okay. It is a communication tool for companies, an internal communication tool, as a way to replace email and create more continuous communication, because companies are not confined to a physical space anymore. There isn't the idea of 9 to 5 anymore. You're seeing more and more companies being distributed, people working from wherever. The phones are making people think about the idea of work very differently.
Like the corporate IT solution has been to sort of fix Outlook or make the old tools from the old world adapt to these new technologies, as opposed to be sort of mobile first, mobile worker first. The Slack guys, I met with them a few months ago, and they showed me some of their uptick rates, and it's simply amazing. When they get inside of a company, everyone in the company wants it.
But it forces you to not write emails to like 50 people at the same time, and it increases productivity of the company per se. Like, I actually have my own personal Slack in which I have 15 of my closest friends on that, and we communicate through that, including sharing links and photos and talking about stuff we've read, or having some questions, or making plans for dinner. It's suddenly become like, that's not the use case they were hoping for, but I could use that for my own personal Slack.
One more idea as we look forward, and it's sort of a look backwards at the same time, which is the hangover of 1999. I was surprised when we talked the other night that you were talking about dark fiber, and the notion that telecom investment was so damaged, so psychically damaged from the crash of 13 years ago, that there's still a lack of investment in telecom. Do you see that still continuing in 2015?
Unfortunately, that is the problem right now. I think most people forget that we are reliant on the network, and we have to make network technologies more robust, more exciting, more efficient as we grow forward. And we are depending on large companies to do that, right? Like, we are depending on phone companies, cable companies, and software and hardware from guys like Cisco, Juniper, Lucent, who don't typically move very fast. So whereas the consumer end of it, the demand end of technology is moving much faster than the network. So
that is the exact opposite of what we saw in the last couple 15 years ago, where the enterprise is leading and the consumers are saying, what do I need a website for?
Yeah, and I think this is a bigger challenge we have at this point. It's like about networks and telecom.